Hello, loves. How's everybody doing on this fine Monday? As I explained in the description, we're going to have a new schedule in here, which I'm really excited about. I'm finally getting some energy back from this pregnancy. So 4 months in, I can finally face the camera and get a little bit of this whole room behind me together, which is still definitely in the process, so ignore the mess that I am surrounded by. But we're going to have a whole new schedule. It's really exciting. I am going to have, let me pull this up on my phone really quick while everyone is hopping on, just so I can see comments, because most of the time it does not show me the comments as you guys are hopping on. So, I have a new schedule in here. There I am with the new schedule. Great. Okay, cool. So, I'm going to go over what that's going to be. We're going to have a new cover photo, which will say what days are what process. Monday, as you see in the description of this video, is going to be healing. So I really think that's the first step in just about any process that you're going to want to do, is to release some blocks and just do that like letting go, deep sigh of relief, healing process. So I'm going to make sure Mondays we have some way to really like release and let go. The next day, which is Tuesday, we're going to do law of attraction goals and reflections as far as what we really want, what we're calling in. Because on Monday, we're going to create space. And then on Tuesday, we're going to really push forward to the universe what it is that we want. Then Wednesday is going to be visualization day, which is really exciting because that's when those goals can really become solid. Because we're going to be working in the Akashic Records, which is coming up, by the way. There is a course I am going to be hosting for the Akashic Records that will come with a certification. So I will drop that link in the comments. Let me see if I can do that right now. Yes. I just had to remember what it was. So .ly/August. Akashic course. Akashic course. Let me make sure I spelled that right. Course is with an S. Okay, so you guys can check that out. It's a little sales page that goes over what it is that course is going to provide, how we're going to go through all of those processes and what you get in the end, what the requirements are, the payment plans, all of that is in the link. So go ahead and check that out. And Wednesday, that's when we're going to be working in the records. So it's going to be really cool to be able to get a little intro on Wednesday, this week and next. And then the following Monday is when we start the course. So you'll have a little bit of an intro this week and next into the Akashic Records on Wednesdays. So make sure to tune in for that if you are interested in the Akashic Records, because that is like the very coolest, most vivid visualizations that I have personally ever had is when I was doing that Akashic Records class. So I'm really excited to offer that to you guys. Other than that, Wednesday will be like meditation practices that are really into that visualization and communication with like the upper realms, if you will. And then Thursday is all about action plans. I really love Thursdays. We're going to do finances on that day, what to do in your day planner, goals, and setting those goals and reaching those goals, celebrating what you've won. Business coaching will be on Thursdays, so that's really exciting. And then Fridays are kind of our freebie day. So I haven't written this down yet. So Friday freebie, and that is when I will be offering you guys readings, and I'll have my tarot cards on here, and I will just be giving readings. So Friday freebie, and that's also the day, of course, right after our business coaching day. So all of you guys will have the opportunity to offer what it is that you provide for your clients in this group, if you will. So that's going to be really exciting. Let me know as you pop on, say hello so I know who you are. So that'll be Friday free readings, which I'm really excited about. So that's the general rundown of the schedule. Today obviously is Monday, so it's a healing process day, and I'm really excited about this because I kind of put together like a 5 easy step process of healing, which we know healing is not an easy process by any means. So I'm hoping that these few things that I have to say, hi Leslie, how are you, my love? So I'm hoping today I can just kind of creating pins. Ooh, that sounds amazing. I need to get into Pinterest in a business standpoint. I'm really excited about that. I hope you teach that in your course, because I'm taking Leslie's course, you guys. It's incredible. I'm excited about it. So I've got 5 steps here for a healing process. And these are processes for things that have really stuck with you, things that you've had in childhood or early relationships. I feel like that's a big one. We have like this generation of people who have loved too soon, if you will. So like when we're 12 and 13, we fall hard in love, right? So we're having sex too soon, and we're really offering ourselves, too much of ourselves too soon, I feel. So a lot of people in our generation are just having a really hard time with this whole process of letting go of that to really mature into our next stages of love, if you will. Not that this healing process has to be love related, but I just feel like there's some truth to that. So, oh yay, me and Leslie are gonna start having one-on-one calls. I'm so excited for that. I am so excited. We have that booked in, so I am like over the moon excited for that. So the first process I have here is non-judging for this healing process. So this is not going over what you said again and again and again. Oh, I should have said this, but my dumb mouth said that, right? Because doing that really, Leslie knows, she just did a video on this not too long ago, where, you know, it's just kind of this shaming thing that we do between us and the other person. And what that really does is clings on to everything that went wrong instead of really trying to have patience and understanding of just, I was really young when I said this, or I was not as mature as I am now when I said that. And also not judging the other person for reacting the way that they reacted, because we don't know if maybe their mother died at the time we had an argument, or, you know, their mom had cancer at the time that we had this argument. So this non-judging is a really big step before we even go into anything else, right? Because there's a piece to that. There's a understanding and a certain amount of just peace and wellness that comes around when we do this process without that bit of judgment. So we're going to keep judgment on the back burner for now. Well, completely off the burners. Throw it in the garbage. And then we start doing this releasing, which is like understanding what really did happen, the facts, not what I wish happened, what could have happened had I done this instead of that. That's still doing that judgment process. So when you put that aside, the releasing and forgiving and letting go can start to happen. And it's not just a one-time tell-all thing. We have a cutting cord ceremony in here, so you guys can definitely go check that out. That's a really good modality when it comes to releasing that's very physical. So it's easy for the physical mind and the left brain to really get behind that and say, okay, when I cut this cord, that's done, that's gone. But a lot of times what can happen when judgment isn't out of the way is those cords can really legitimately grow back, because it's just kind of like a heartstring, right? Our heart space kind of reaches towards people, especially that from our past that have really hurt us. For whatever reason, we cling on to that, right? And we think to ourselves like, oh, well, if my heart space stays open, the healing can happen. If my heart space is open to this, then that is, you know, going to facilitate some sort of a change. And that's not necessarily what happens. So that's why we're calling this step letting go or releasing or forgiving, because we're going to drop it. We're just going to say, I was a different person then. I forgive that process that happened. It really sucked to have that conversation at that time that we had it. But I'm not going to hang on to it and leave my heart space open to further give myself to that process, that old story, right? So then we can come in with this certain amount of patience. And we want to have patience when we're doing letting go and healing processes, because we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves when the letting go doesn't just happen, right? So I want to let this go. I really want to release this thing, but my stupid mind is doing this instead. My heart space remains open. How stupid am I, right? And then the judgment comes back. So judgment needs to be gone, and keep that throughout the whole process that you're doing. And then letting go and releasing is just this really big sigh of relief, and you really can't fake it, right? It can't be a pretend releasing ceremony. Whatever that ceremony is for you, you can do many of them. My favorite is probably the cutting cords, of course, burning sage and going for a walk and trying to, you know, reach down into the earth and really like give that energy down into the earth, because the earth itself, dirt itself, trees, all are absorbent. And so we really can give energy away by burying notes that we give to the universe, by writing letters to that person, what we wish we would have said, and burying it. A lot of people say, well, it still exists, you didn't destroy it. But what happens is it actually releases that energy. The earth knows because it's responding to what your intention was, and it can absorb all that negative energy and suck it out of it. So that's a really good process too. So whatever that process is for you, that's cutting cords and then burying different letters and things. Burning them can do the same thing because the air can take it away and it's up into the cosmos. Crystal grids and putting a letter or your intention inside of your crystal grid can work very well with your intention of letting it go and releasing it, and then burning it after that or burying after that. That works too. So we're having patience with this. We're not going to say, okay, I did this process, I let go of the process, and then it comes back, right? I have a dream about it, or the song that's on the radio reminds me of this thing that happened, right? When that comes up again and again, that's just saying that there is a lesson to be learned. But if it's hurting your heart and there is something that triggers a response within you, I don't recommend trying to figure out the lesson right then and there. I suggest doing the letting go ceremony again. And you say, listen, universe, I had this intention for you to take this away from me. And then you can bring in the angels. You can do releasing meditations off of YouTube. We'll have plenty of them in here on Mondays. Right now, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a rundown of what to do while I'm offering you guys these healings. So I want to make sure this process is what sticks with you as I go through on Mondays and give you guys these different ideas, like the cutting cords and et cetera, et cetera. So what comes after that, and with this second time of letting go, so letting go is on here twice. This is number 4. Okay, so we have number 1, judgment off the table. Number 2 is letting go or releasing ceremony with the forgiveness. And then number 3 is patience. Number 4 is to do the process again, or do a different process. Maybe the crystals didn't work, so now you want to try to bury it, because the intention has to be there. So this is where it gets interesting, because if it comes back, right, which it's likely to do, step 3, and we have to approach it with patience. It's easy to want to do the exact same thing again, but I would just try a different process. And we'll go through plenty of these starting next week once we really dive into the actual meditative processes. And it's the intention. So if your intention isn't very clear with the universe, and it's like, okay, so she wants to release this old trauma, but her heart space is still open to revisiting that relationship or communicating with that person, your intentions are not actually clear as far as the universe is concerned, because that heart space is still open. So I don't want you guys to close your heart space down completely in like a depressing type of energy, but I do want you guys to have that specific boundary when it comes to this specific trauma, this specific event that is replaying, because when that is replaying, there's obviously a lesson to be learned. But like I said, if it's triggering a response and your heart rate is jumping and you're not feeling good and it's hurting your self-esteem to be thinking about these things, we don't want to dig for the lesson when we're in that state. We want to have released that attachment before we move forward with moving into learning the lessons. And that's going to be more in like Wednesdays when we're in the Akashic Records and we can ask about these things that have happened. Why did this happen? What's the lesson here? That's when to do that, not on release day. So healing day, which is today. So the next one, after you do the other process with trust, trusting that this happened for some sort of a reason, there is a lesson, not knowing what that lesson is yet, but understanding there's a lesson within this. I'm going to figure this out on Akashic Records Day. I don't need to figure this out right now. I'm going to go ahead and do this releasing process from the heart with intention, give it away to the earth or fire or air or water, right? give the elements some room to work here and call upon the angels, and we'll do some more processes with that on Wednesdays as well. Spirit guides are in the Akashic Records, so we will pull from that space as well. And then 5 is generosity, and this is a really cool spin on healing, because you think generosity, healing, you're gonna kind of shut that door, you're gonna move it away, but what you actually have to tap into is this amount of forgiveness comes from a place of love, right? But it's more of a self-love. And so when you're pushing out and releasing things that have sort of shaped you, there can be a lot of a self-image issue or a self-story, right? This traumatic experience made me who I am today, therefore do I really want to release it? And the answer is yes, you still want to release things that have come and gone from your space, because that person, you don't know where they're at, you don't know if they're married, you don't know if they did their releasing ceremony at all, you don't know if they're still thinking about you, and it can drive you kind of nuts, right? So what you want to do is have a generosity of self-love, to love yourself enough to really push away or to release those things that have been holding you back, having an issue with your self-image because this trauma has happened, you know, and it can be any spectrum of things. And if you guys want to put into the comments, oh, hi, we have people. Oh my gosh. Okay, Grace is here, Kelly's here, Bethany. Hi, Donald, or Johnny. And Leslie wants to learn about crystal grids. We will do a lot more of that. I have a long list of, we'll do crystal processes, I believe, on Wednesdays or Tuesdays. So you guys will have to rewatch to see what the rundown is on the schedule, and it will also be our new cover photo. So just hold off on that. But our step number 5 is generosity, because with forgiveness, you have to have a certain amount of oomph behind you as you're offering forgiveness. It actually takes a certain amount of strength to really offer that person, especially someone who's given you trauma, someone who's given you this self-image issue, someone who's given you this fire, you know, that burns behind you, turns you into kind of this new person that you didn't actually see before this traumatic event happened, right? You have to have this certain amount of strength to kind of release that energy that's fire and burning desire of hatred or whatever, and push that outside of who you are, right? Because the self-image that came from this traumatic event does not have to be something that shapes you. We have to understand it first. And in my personal belief, I would release it completely. Get your self-image and your self-story and who you are as a person, your self-reflection, and your sacred space really put together. I'm going to write down sacred space for Mondays. I got to make sure that's there, because that's a whole other bag of worms. So sacred space is also Mondays. And we'll go into that. We'll work with the 4 directions and different things. It's almost like a protection spell, and I've kind of talked about this a little bit in here before, where we really put that bright white light, you know, chakras alignment, thing like that, that creates a little power shield around who you are as a person, so that when we're doing these releasing works, that goes outside of that white bubble, right? So that'll be another day. Maybe we'll do that next Monday, because I think that's really important as we do an intro to healing work, is that sacred space and that protection, right? But first, what I want to do is not judging the circumstance itself. That's number 1. 2 is letting go and doing a forgiveness routine or a ritual of some sort, which we'll go over those every Monday is something new. So if you have something in mind, bring that to Mondays. We're going to do noon. So if this is a good time, I'll probably have a poll and see what time works best for everybody. So the letting go and release work, which is cutting cords, burying an intention, burning an intention, writing the story out, writing letters out, burying, burning, and drowning those, like flushing them down the toilet or whatever you have to do. And then a patience that goes around that was number 3, is a patience with yourself and with the process and with that person, and having this general amount of love and understanding that can be extended throughout this process. And then 4 is doing it again if you have to, because cords can grow back if the intention didn't come from the heart, And if your intention, your heart space was still open while you were trying to do this ceremony, the cords can grow back, the heart space can be open to the person who created the trauma, and the attachment to who you are as a person because of this trauma can create it to just keep spiraling. So we want to be sure that we do the processes several times and not get upset if we have a dream about it, if it just happens to come back up, right? And number 5 is a generosity, because it takes an awful amount of strength and love to be able to really push out and release what really needs to be pushed out and released. Because we're almost taught to kind of bottle it down. Emotions are a secondary, feeling, and logic takes the lead when this is not the case when we are in Monday healing. Okay, this is a right brain feminine aspect of self. Okay, so there's a generosity here, a woman medicine or a woman mystery to this. The ability to obliterate that feeling is an actual really intense circumstance and an intense thing to try and facilitate. So we will be going over this every Monday. No stress, patience, and then the generosity, because it all comes from love, a certain amount of self-love, a certain amount of love for that person who facilitated this change in you, this social aspect or this traumatic event. You have to have an amount of love for that person to be able to push them away, to wish them well, and just say, you created this thing in me, I absolutely hate you for it. Then go ahead and bury that into the earth or burn that into the sky. Give that releasing to yourself, right? Love yourself enough to really push that away from you, not push that down within you, right? Because it becomes part of our story. And then who are we without this traumatic experience, right? The story remains the same, right? But when we release the heart space that holds it close to our aura, right? Once that is released, then we can learn the lesson. Then we can move forward with ourselves and our story, okay? And we'll go over self-story, mission statements, things like that. So if you tune in every day, all of this is going to come full circle and make sense. Today's like day 1, which is really exciting. So generosity is this last step, I'm sorry. So what we're doing here is creating space. And it's going to not feel empty, which is really important. We're not trying to push everything out of our aura so that we feel emptiness, but we are creating space for new things to come in. Because like I said, Tuesdays are law of attraction day. What are we calling in? What's our intention to bring into our space? And then Wednesday, how can we visualize that and make that stronger and tap into the Akashic records to really understand what made us want that thing? What our spirit guides have to tell us about that thing that we want, or past life, I want to say recreation, because I don't like regression. The last teacher that I had said we don't say past life regression, which I really like, because regression is like regressing into that space and going in and understanding that space more fully. So we say past life exploration, so that we're just looking around. We're not absorbing and taking in, because if you go in a past life and you find out how you die, you don't want to just be all of a sudden terrified of swords or terrified of bows and arrows. You want to just say, oh, wow, that's interesting. That happened. Now I'm back in this space and it's separate, right? So we're not regressing. We're just exploring. And I think that's really important on this being release day too, and healing day, because that's what we're doing as well, is we're just exploring past traumas, releasing what doesn't serve us, creating space for tomorrow, which is Law of Attraction Day, and we get to call in something new into that space that we just cleared out within our heart space, right? So we'll go over, sigils and crystal grids are going to be Wednesdays. That's what I was checking. So we're creating space so that we can call things in, so that we can understand things better. And then Thursdays, I was going to go into our action days. So that is taking action in the direction of your dreams, right? And as long as you are in the right direction, even just a tiptoe into that direction is better than a leap of faith in any other direction. So we have to be certain of where we're going, which is Wednesdays. Then on Thursdays, we'll have business coaching, we'll have finance coaching, strategies, it's a very left brain, planning, organization, then that action we can make sure is in the right direction. So we have Julie. Hi, Julie. Ning, hello, my love. And then Friday is freebie day, which Friday freebie is really exciting because that's when I'll do readings and I'll just be on here with my cards for probably several hours if I know myself, and I'll be able to offer that to you guys so that you can bring to me what you learned all week and say, I still have a problem with releasing, I'm still having a problem connecting to meditation, I'm still having a problem with, you know, understanding this process or modality or planning day, and I'm still having a difficulty with the process of planning or whatever it is, and you bring it to me on Friday, and that's when I do just like a free live coaching day. So that's going to be really powerful. So I'm really excited for this new schedule, you guys. It's going to be our new cover photo, so you won't have to memorize all of this. I will have it all written down and spanned out really pretty for everybody. And then I was going to also mention again that the Akashic Records class is going to be about 2 weeks from today. So join with the link in the comments. It should be the first comment. I don't know if I have to pin it. Oh, pin comment. Okay, so that'll be the first comment for sure. There's just a little page that goes over what the requirements are, what we're going to be going over. It's going to be really intense and really amazing. Like I said in the beginning, I have never had more vivid visualizations than I did when I was in the Akashic Records. That's where you meet your spirit guides. That's where you can find what modality works best for you. The past life exploration. I keep wanting to say regeneration, and that doesn't make any sense. So that's going to be really exciting. We'll go over that a little bit on this Wednesday as far as what those records are, what does that even mean, and there's a post inside of the group as well. So if you just scroll down one or two, it's the Akashic Records, like a picture of someone meditating in between a library, and that really is what it is. When I first tapped into the Akashic Records, I stood on a pedestal, essentially like a staircase, and then the library moved around me and brought me to the exact book that I needed to, and it was just right in front of my face. And it's really cool. We work a lot with visualizations of books, visualizations of being able to pick and choose that one specific thing that you're going to need to know. So you can just ask the records, what do I need to know today? You can ask the records, how did I die in a past life? Why did my relationship end? Why did my mother die early? Why did I have a miscarriage? All of these different questions that you have stuck in your mind are all in the Akashic Records. So to be able to tap into that and do a very vivid meditation to understand it in images or understand it with continuous writing, channeling, being able to access other people's records for client work is also extremely powerful. So that's how I'm able to tap into my tarot cards to get a reading on somebody else, to know if the tarot card I'm holding has to do with career, love, family, and get images that are beyond what the card can offer. So all of that, as well as what crystals do what, astrology information is in there. There's just an infinite amount of knowledge. Some people call it the Book of Life. Some people call I guess the library, I don't know what the grand library would be called poetically. Hi, Julie. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's going to be absolutely insane. There's payment plans for it. It's an 8-week course. I'm so excited because there's just so much that goes into it that's going to coincide with what I'm going to be teaching at noon every day in this group right here face to face, that you guys will have a deeper understanding of and be able to offer to your clients, because there is a certification that comes with that course, and you can be a certified practitioner of the Akashic Records, or the Akashic field, as Einstein put it, or the Akashic realm, as some of us spiritual people say, but Einstein did talk about it as the space between particles. So I think that's really cool. There's a scientific link between Einstein and this gravity and chaos theory and all of these different grids and things that you can really tap into and understand on such a deep level with images. And in the course, you'll have to prove your ability to do this. So you'll be answering questions for other people in the course. and those people will say yes or no, you're correct or not. And then you write a reflection essay, you send it to me, and you get your certificate, and then you can offer this to your clients, which can be any amount of clients. If you're a marketer and someone doesn't know if they want pink or red, you can tap into the Akashic Records and say, okay, obviously I'm seeing the color red. That's what you need for your marketing, for your website. I can offer that for you. Let me know if this feels the best. And there's just a certain amount of information that is available in this realm, in this spiritual space, that other people are really going to appreciate your ability to tap into. So like I said, go ahead and click on that link there. And if there's any issues with it, then just bring it to me. If you can send me a message to let me know, that would be really, really helpful. Other than that, you guys, I will see you tomorrow for Tuesday, which is Law of Attraction Day. So that's just intentions, what it is you're bringing in, being very deliberate about what you're bringing in, and we'll have different processes on how to facilitate that in the most easy way. So I'm really excited for that. I will see you guys tomorrow. Look forward to the new, I'll have a little picture that puts the schedule up so that everybody knows what to expect on what day. And I'll also add a poll to the group to see who's available at what times. I was thinking noon. If that doesn't work for anybody, just let me know and I can switch it up by a couple hours. I'm mostly available before 3 p.m. Central or Mountain Standard, so that's going to be kind of difficult because I'm Mountain Standard, which is not the most normal everyday time. I think most people are Pacific or Eastern. So I'll have a poll there and see what is most available. And if everyone can tune in tomorrow at noon, I will plan on that unless the poll says otherwise. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you all so much. I love you dearly.